All right, so we're doing HTML and creating web pages, and the code that we're working through is on GitHub. It goes to 11. It's my username. You could go to my repos, HTML CSS Bootcamp. That's where the code is. And you could also follow me on Twitter because I'm always giving away cars and trips and things like that. That's a joke, but I tweet a lot of stuff that's cool. And you could also check out greatercommons.com, which is a company I'm building with some friends. It's totally great. So now let's learn about web pages. We're doing these assignments, and we just finished this one right here, and we were learning about Flexbox in the last video. Now we're going to create an HTML page with one anchor tag, provide styling for this anchor tag, including different colors for these CSS pseudo-class properties. Link visited, hover active. Is that the order that we want link visited and hover and active in? It is, because we have our mnemonic device now, whether it's LVHA, L-V-H-A, or
link visits my rule again, or something. Link visited my rule.
There you go, whatever that one is. I don't know anything about that. Create a paragraph text, style the first letter of that paragraph and the first line to be different from the rest of the paragraph. So that's our next one. So let me open this up. And I really like this effect. I don't know why more people don't use it. Well, heck, I'll just copy that. 04, first letter, line. Okay, so I'm going to do this as a paragraph, and I want it to be centered in the page, which is cool. I'm going to get rid of this. And so I'm just going to do, I think lorem gives me a div. No, it gives me nothing. So I'm going to do a paragraph. Whoops. Paragraph and lorem. So there's my paragraph. And then I'm going to come over here and say that my paragraph, and I could do width 25%. It's going to be 25% of the page. Or I could do 25 VW, and it's going to be, again, 25% of the page, viewport width. So what's the difference between VW and percent? So can I use.com? And I could do VW, type that in. And VW is supported by 84% of browsers. Okay, but who doesn't support it and why? And down here it says partial support refers to not supporting Vmax unit. So it doesn't support Vmax. But this has partial support, and that's 3.5. This is partial support, that's 1.5, so that's 5. And this is partial support, and it's nothing. So we get another 5% up to 89% here. And then here, this is 3.3%. So that takes us to 92. I don't know where the other 8% is. You know, that's not shown up there. But VW is pretty well used. What about if we just put in percent? And calc, unit, summary, percent. Length units representing 1% of viewport. I guess the percent is just everything, so there's nothing in there. So I might go with percent if I want a little bit more usability. But you got to think about what's working in what browsers. You're building for cross-browser, cross-platform. Every browser is different, you know, and what's going to work. And I'll probably just go more like 60%. And then I could do a border around it, border, and 1 pix solid black. If I didn't want to use the shorthand notation, how would I do that? I could do this, right? Border, and then just see border style, border color, black. Okay, we got the black. And then what's next? Border style, and we could do solid. So we got the solid. And then we could do border, and we need the size, 1 pix. Image, left, right, top, border width. So that looks like 1 pixel. Right? And so that looks like it'd do the same thing. It's giving me these little squirrely things here because it's saying use the shorthand property. But that should create that page in the middle of the page. Now that what from a style standpoint, what would I want to do to fix that up? Padding. Dude, look at how close that content is to the border. So I'm going to turn this one on and turn these off, but just showing you that. And now I'm going to add some padding, and I'm going to do like 20 pixels. And did you see that? Look at what happened. Right? The content stayed the same size, but the padding just pushed out the size of my element. What do I turn on to keep that from popping out and keep this exactly the same size, right? I don't want this to be any bigger. What do I turn on so that when I add padding, it doesn't change doesn't change the size of the footprint of the element on the page. When I add padding and border, I want the size of it to be always, 60%. What do I add on? Box sizing border box. Is it box sizing border box or border box box sizing?
Box sizing border.
How do you know?
Because box has to be on the end.
Box is on the outside, man. You put something in a box, the box is on the outside. Box sizing border box. Right? And look at that, right? So now when I add the padding, the thing is always still the same size. Right? Just push the content in. So that's pretty sweet. And now I want to add some pseudo classes. First line, color red. Nice. And then I also want to do P first. And I could just look here, what are my choices? First letter, first child, first letter, first of type, first letter. It's funny, I've got first letter there, and I've got first letter there. I'll go with that one. Look at that. That gave me a pseudo element. And what's the other one? That gave me a pseudo class. So you see that? Watch what happened. First, and I've got first letter, and I've got first letter. This one's CSS 2.0. This one's CSS 3.0. Well, 3.0 is probably better than 2.0. Just like 11's louder than 10. By one. It's one louder, isn't it? Right? So if I do first, what? These go up to 11. These go up to 11. Well, why not just make 10 that much louder? But these go up to 11. That one gave me 2 colons. So that's a pseudo element. It's just a slight, subtle distinction, right? But it should still be fine. And I'm going to do a font size like 24 pixels, just a little bit bigger. Because on the whole page it's 38. Oh, then I want to do like 60. Make it a little bit bigger. Let's see if first line has a choice there. So first line and first line. And again, if I go with the newer one, it's got 2 colons. That's a pseudo element. How do I remember it's a pseudo element? Because it's got 2 colons, right? E has 3 dots and 4 is close to 3. And pseudo class is just going to have 1 colon with 2 dots, just like a C has 2 endpoints. Mnemonic device. So now let's look at this. Cool, right? It's pretty cool. I could add maybe a little bit of padding around that. 5 pixels, just see what happens around that letter. So that kind of is nice, space it out a little bit. As I change the size of the page, it's only the first line, which is red. I think that's so beautiful. And I would also do this. How do I do italic? So font style, italic, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? Did you all do this one already? You're doing it right now? All right, I'm going to make this its own video, and then we'll start a new one so you could work for a second and finish it up.